Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Tuesday. I'm Tom. That's Toli, and this is the SMITE Global Series. Today, we're going to travel to Brazil, and we're going to see two of the stronger teams down there. No Ping versus Black Dragons.
It's going to be an interesting matchup. A formidable opponent, Black Dragons, an experienced LAN team against a team that's trying to find their footing, trying to get into the Masters.
When it comes down to the Brazilian region, Black Dragons has been dominant there for a number of weeks, months, years, just pick your era. But what it comes down to is No Ping has been very, very competitive throughout the past couple of cycles of this global series. We're in the summer split in the SPL in a very similar situation with 6 weeks here. The last 6 weeks, No Ping looked really strong earlier on.
They were able to kind of make it towards the open brackets, find their ways towards the finals, but Black Dragons always one step above them. Really qualifying to the LAN is their strengths, but once they get to the LAN, that's where it's a different matter. Brazil, within its own region, has their own meta, but when it comes to North America, where they faltered against Space Station Gaming, faltered against EU United, they need to find a way to break out of their own internal meta and expand it internationally.
Honestly, I think it's less of the meta and more of the actual just talent. I think there's a talent gap between the global region and the North America European, and I say that because I think that's almost more respectful to these teams, in the sense that in Brazil everybody really understands the game. There's not this. Remember when we used to watch China and there was a really big like, what are they doing? They're playing like Hades Jungle, right? These guys play the same game that you see in North America and Europe. So I expect to see a lot of the flavorful stuff that we saw in the Pro League here in the global series. So let's jump into game number 1 here between Black Dragons and No Ping. What can you tell us about these teams' individual play styles?
Well, I think that Black Dragons really rely a little bit more on Kliz transitioning into that mid game. He plays aggressive gods in the solo lane. He likes to try to look for those small advantages to out transition his opposition. And then you look at Gons here, a newer jungler in this season. It's not going to be the other one here, Oship, from before, changing teams a little bit, still having a strong, solid duo lane between PB and Marcel's. Black Dragons can easily play it very safe in the duo lane, allow their jungler solo combination to kind of start carrying and getting the game off with a hot fire.
At LAN, PB really stood up strong. The support player for Black Dragons looked really, really good. Honestly, a lot of these players looked good individually. It was just the sum of the whole. No Ping will be a formidable opponent, but the bands of the Guan Yu is out there, and Ra has been sneaking up in the popularity meter.
Ra has always been a solid god since its inception. It's been one of those gods that has the range, has the safety with the heal on top of the protections that it provides now. And this is just a common thing. It always falls out of the flavor, but then it rises back up.
Giannis just this is an evergreen character. I don't think Giannis ever has a meta or a moment where he's bad, really. So sure, the guy walks through walls. So Black Dragons will pick him next to one of the newer gods, Achilles. In fact, the newest, because Chernobog's not yet available.
In the right hands, Giannis is just an absolute nightmare. In some of these team fights, you're trying to make those long range rotations, and that's where he provides the strengths for your team, because you might be out of position, but when you have through space and time, not only can you bring yourself towards the action, but your jungler potentially right next to you.
Sylvanas isn't always my favorite pick, Anatoly, but I like the selection here versus the Achilles, specifically because he's got a light heal. Not quite I don't exactly call the Tree God a full healer, but the ability to just bring somebody above execute threshold, really important here.
And not only that, he's going to probably build the Lotus Crown more than likely. Getting that 20 protections, both physical and magical, is going to allow the team fights to start swinging towards No Ping's favor, and especially if they can just survive that initial burst damage between not only the Achilles but the Circuit. I think that No Ping has a chance to just outlast BD.
It's possible. We're halfway through the draft, though, so Black Dragons can respond with a traditional healer of their own. The Sylvanas players we've seen lately have gone for the Lotus Crown first item, even really pushing the power that they have by way of the HOTS. So Circuit going to be followed up with a 4th selection. Interesting bands here, most notably the Hercules. I think the other 3 bands are pretty standard, but the Herc band kind of odd.
It seems that Black Dragons did their homework. They understand that No Ping has Spexzilla, one of the other aggressive solo laners, and you always have to be mindful about that pull-push combination. And if you don't have to worry about that, well, now you're saving your beats for another rainy day.
Well, if Kelly's watching, she's certainly happy. We've got Hell in a Pro League game here in the Global Series, and the character comes in and out of the meta. Right now, people have been predicting a healer meta, and Hell is at the forefront. And how do you deal with Hell, Toly?
Odin. Just like that. It seems No Ping kind of forgot that Odin was a potential. They saw the Achilles, they saw the Sarkhat, and they were thinking to themselves, no way are they going to add an Odin to that mix. They need magical frontliners, but BD were like, nah, we need anti-healing more than we need a magical frontliner.
And I think this is the right idea. I think this is the right option. I always have this conversation this argument with people on stream, people in my ranked games. 4 physical isn't ideal, but there is a time and a place where you do ignore the whole magical physical balance, and I think this is one of them.
As long as they can get rid of the hell, then it doesn't matter that they only have that 1 magical damage. And Giannis has a lot of damage as long as he can connect the double tap of his unstable vortex.
Well, let's head into game here and see how these teams match up. Black Dragons versus No Ping. Robin going to be carrying the banner for No Ping here in the jungle most likely. And across the way, Black Dragons, you said it was all about Kliz, and he's going to be stomping on the Odin.
Just a hard counter matchup. It's like bread and butter, right? You're trying to put that on top of it and take a nice little snack, and that's what Kliz is probably going to look to do, especially if Gons is going to be making that rotation. Both of them having incredible answers for healing.
Oh, this is very interesting, actually. We're going to see a solo lane hell. So we've seen these solo Aphrodite succeed, and that's largely because of itemization. Rod of Asclepius is very, very strong right now, and coupled with the Soul Reaver, you've got enough impact. I say impact because it's both damage and healing. With the Hell here, is that build going to be the same success rate?
It's possible, but the problem with Hell is she struggles pre-level 7, whereas Aphrodite is just solid all across the board. She can keep herself alive with the knockback as well. Before Spexzilla gets Breastplate of Valor, he's going to be struggling in the laning phase and recognizing Black Dragon's strengths. Gons looking for that blue buff steal, preventing any sort of MP5 for Spexzilla.
I love that choice, Anatoly. Usually when Hells are played in the mid lane or even support, their starting items give them some MP5 to just go along with it because she's a stand switching healer. She's going to need a lot of mana. Here, stranded out there in the solo lane, building tanky without an item, that's without the blue buff, that's going to be a big, big mountain for the Hell player to climb.
And Spexzilla probably needs to counteract this by just straight up finishing Breastplate, even before the boots, trying to get that MP5 online sooner rather than later, get that protections going, because the Kliz Bird Bomb damage is very respectable. You don't necessarily need the mobility. As long as you have that big burst of mana from the item and the MP5, you're going to be able to sustain in the laning phase quite well, even without the blue buff.
And the base damage and the base healing, rather, for Spexzilla isn't really all that high. She's going to need the itemization, whereas Odin can just sort of jump on him. Gons gets caught up in the stripe. This could be big. He's actually going to go aggressive. Big portal coming out from Nan, and the turnaround is good. Big man in the middle lane. Nan coming through with the first blood.
Gons just hitting that Cobra's Kiss on both targets, forcing out the beads after the portal. Great follow-up from Nan. The synergy between these two from Black Dragons just really goes to show why BD is at the top of their own region.
Everybody looks at Kliz, and Kliz is a great friend of mine. He's all good, and I'm clarifying the state. Nan is one of my favorite international players, period. He shows up, he takes the game very seriously, not afraid to have some fun, but he takes the game very seriously. He sincerely thinks that his team is on the same level as the NA and EU teams, which isn't that far from the truth. He puts in the work, Tolly, and when he comes and he plays, he shows up. If there's a player that could ever make it from the international scene in the Pro League itself, I think Nan's one of them.
Definitely possible as we see more action
in
the solo lane.
Oh, I love that choice. Odin was going to go for the blue buff, but jumps over the wall as soon as Kliz sees that Spexzilla's in the wrong spot. Just goes for the jump and the kill. That was his opportunity knocking. Kliz did not plan on doing that. I love that deviation from the plan.
Abusing the Hell before any sort of health or physical protections is the key goal for Black Dragons. The Hell is a great thing in the late game, but she has to get there, and thus far she's struggling because Black Dragons is not allowing any sort of breathing room, and without a teleport, going to be missing out more minions under the tower, losing some more golden experience, and they're not done yet. Black Dragons are level 5. They're going for it again, Tom.
This is still not terrible for the Hell. 0-1-0, not a big deal. I mean, you got to keep Hell down the entire game, and that's why Gons is paying so much attention to this right-hand side. He's giving up a ton of farm by sitting here and waiting for this ambush, but he's not concerned. His only prerogative right now is killing this Hell.
He's still in range to share some of this experience as long as Kliz can find the Bird Bomb. Gons is still within that leash radius, finding the damage on Spexzilla, just slowly whittling him away to allow Gons to potentially follow up, but the patience from Spexzilla. Yeah. He's going to even allow these archers to enter his tower because he doesn't necessarily know for a fact that Gons is around the corner, but the communication from his team is, hey, we haven't seen her on the mini-map. You might want to watch out.
Always got to keep that in mind because of the Circuit being one of the more mobile characters around, right? Just so easy to get around the map, and Just not somebody you want to be surprised by, because you certainly will die. PB on the Achilles, something that we haven't really spoken about. The support Achilles has been really interesting. Kalas played it yesterday in the inaugural game of the European Summer Split and failed miserably. Raffers played it successfully. Other players have failed as well. This seems to be a very, very personal pick in the support role.
I would definitely agree, as they're trying to fight fire with fire. The return action onto Marcel as he's trying to retreat with a sprint from P-Bay.
Trying to get in the way and cause the body blocks. Here comes the portal from Nan, but predictable movement. Felly goes to the sky and puts one down. Nice roll. 3 players from Black Dragons trying to stop this one. PB is going to get hit by the ultimate and spread it to Nan. Stuck in the corridor. Jules comes through, takes down Nan. Jules is in trouble though. Gons is here. Can't get the explosion on the teammate. And Gons will retreat underneath the tower. Nice plays there coming out from No Ping.
Incredible safety as well, being able to survive that very last tick. Not able to survive in the solo lane. Kliz really taking advantage of Spexilla, but refreshing on the left side, that team fight started off by No Ping aggressing onto Marcel before he was level 5, before he had the safe airstrike just to disengage. It forced the defensive sprint from P-Bay, and then without that, there was really no safety for Nan once he got into it, because the golden apple of Discord spread on top of him. And normally you do want to clump up in certain team fights, make sure that you're going to be able to save your teammates and try to bail them out. But as soon as P-Bay got hit initially by that ultimate, he tried to use his Fatal Strike to get closer and body block Jules' basic attacks, but that just ultimately spread to Nan, and then he couldn't go through his own portal.
I actually, I actually saw it. I thought P-Bay was trying to escape, get away from his teammates with the ultimate, but just great recognition from No Ping to drop that team fight where it was, because there's no way that P-Bay can really get out of there without spreading the apple to his teammate in that little foxhole that's the blue buff area.
Well, at least the Black Dragons can rest easy knowing that the hell won't be an issue quite at this early phase. That's something that they've been leaning on. They just need to make sure that Marcel's on the flip side doesn't fall behind too early, because Rom is an absolute nightmare once it comes to the late game. The steroid of the attack speed is very respectable.
Marcel's going to get knocked up and use that to dash away, but a beautiful pull from the Sylvanas player. Wow.
That was very impressive.
Dentola just read that.
The patience from Marcel's recognizing, okay, knockup's going to come through, I need to use agility, but the problem was he used agility in a straight line. He didn't go diagonal. He didn't really make that more difficult than it possibly could have. Now, not to take credit away from the Sylvanas player, because that was very well played.
Yeah, Dentola, nice accuracy there. Kliz making his first rotation from the right-hand side, and it's going to be fruitful. Dentola falls down to his Gons. Does get hit by a little bit of the nonsense for the mid laner. I love how Kliz walked over to the Circuit in the ambush and then meted just to make sure.
Just the teamwork, the synergy between BD. They knew that, like, okay, if he's going to dive my Circuit player, we can easily turn this one around. A great pickoff of Sylvanas, which is why in the Pro League specifically, Sylvanas goes in and out of the flavor, because it's so easy at times to pick off a rotating Sylvanas. You don't have any sort of gap closing abilities on the god, so you're very immobile, especially during the pull. You're stationary during the ultimate. You're stationary. You're looking for a lot of those big burst abilities during those two.
Kliz making a really important move there. I mentioned before how keeping Hell down, 1 kill, 2 kills, not good enough. Hell has to die like 30 times to keep her out of the game. So when you're camping this Hell, when you're getting this advantage, the most important thing is not about keeping the Hell down, but boosting yourself up.
Yes.
And if you're killing the Hell over and over again, you're going to have an advantage. But what good is an advantage, Toli, if you don't ever leave the solo lane?
Well, it's going to come at level 12 during the second relic. Probably going to get a blink for Kliz and look to really start pushing his advantage with a 2-level lead. By the time Kliz hits level 12, Spexilla will be about that level 10 marker. And forcing teamfights with a blink Odin, especially even against Sylvanas on the opposite side of the map, could easily start translating to gold furies for BD.
Right side, Gon's looking for another one. But
they were thinking about it.
Yeah, Spexilla going to play it a little bit safe still. Not very powerful, just the booties online alongside what will likely become a Breastplate of Valor.
Getting level 9 just now, and that Breastplate of Valor going to allow 30% cooldown reduction on the Hell, being able to spam a lot of these abilities. Still needs to find a way to get out of this Odin cage. Someone from No Ping needs to pick up the Phantom.
Yeah, the problem is nobody's really near level 12. 3 levels away are the highest players, solo, jungle, mid, and hunter. So it's going to be an issue there getting the Phantom because nobody's got it right now. So it's not going to be until that mid game. And we're really seeing that relic and that option come out. Black Dragons opting to be very aggressive here.
Wow, that damage.
They're going to get punished for it. Nan gets poked.
The Strife, the Unruly Magic, Nan did not expect that one whatsoever. And this is the problem with the non-Warlock staff builds. If you put yourself out of position like that, you're more likely to get punished. The Cronus Pen allows you to play offensive, though.
Oh, there's Jules just blinking to the back line. Ultimate from the mid lane. Discordia going to be off the mark, but PB gets pulled. PB gets jumped. Still going to be fine. And off the screen, Spexzilla dies again on that right side. But you see, this is how No Ping is responding, and I love this. Rather than helping out the hell, they're just like, look, you're going to get stopped. You're a hell. Welcome to professional level play. We're going to win elsewhere. If Gauntz is there the whole time, whatever.
That's true. It's going to be important for No Ping to recognize that right now, Spexzilla, trying to defend Spexzilla, is more of a liability.
Yes.
So you're not going to be worrying about that. She'll carry, actually, once it comes to the late game, as soon as she gets at level 17 or higher points. So she needs to start working on some health items, making sure that she'll survive the initial burst damage, some of the anti-healing, because the duration of Last Breath and the Odin Cage lasts quite a long time, and the defenses aren't going to matter through the true damage of Last Breath.
Looking at the... Ooh. Marcel's going to jump away. Pull was accurate, but a little short. Marcel's just got too far away there. PVA, no real crowd control available, so he's not going to be able to find much. I'm really keeping an eye on No Ping's builds. I want to see how heavily they go into that physical defense, and if Giannis is just going to be able to do whatever he wants.
We'll see, because Dentola's probably... Oh, he's switching his build up now, working on that Steel Mail. Probably going to go... Wouldn't necessarily recommend the Mystical Mail. Probably the Sovereignty. I thought he was going to go straight for the Gauntlet of Thebes, trying to stack that up as quickly as possible.
Oh, the blink forward, the jump on top, and the ultimate for good measure. You ain't back in here, Spexzilla.
That's the blink play. That's the blink Sarkett danger, but keep in mind that the blink Odin is available. Giannis transporting his team on the left.
Ufel is in trouble. He's down to about 5% HP. Nan with the snipe, but he gets taken down by Jules anyway. Surrounded by teammates. That's a rough break.
The blink Odin right on top of the rump, catching him during the dash. Answering in kind, losing their mid laner, but answering with No Ping's Hunter means that Black Dragons should hold this Gold Fury for a little longer, even with the death of Marcel's.
Jules looking for Gons now, and Gon will be all right. No Ping started the Gold Fury beforehand. I think we're going to see another attempt on it.
Without the Hunter, it's more difficult to do, and No Ping don't want to necessarily risk that. Nan has just revived. It's still a differential of about 8 seconds between Marcel's and Ufel, but with Jing Wei's passive, that 8-second differential is going to get completely negated.
13 minutes in here. Black Dragons have 7 kills compared to No Ping's 5. BD with the first ones on the board with the first blood, and then extended their lead about 1,200 gold, even past that point. That said, I would definitely say this one's a little closer than it seems. No Ping has played really, really well, specifically in the jungle. Jules has gotten a lot of these sort of runaway kills. Low health players trying to escape. He blinks on them and makes sure that they can't really get away.
Where one door closes, a window opens. No Ping really taking advantage that there's so much attention onto Spexzilla that it opens the door for Jules to make some of these plays across the map. Trying to just use that heal for mobility now. Spexzilla is really worried about the positioning of this Odin Sarkett combination.
But I thought you said when one door opens, the window opens. Or
no,
when one door closes, the window opens. So how is he getting in the door?
Because then the window closed, and then the door opens up again.
Oh, so they're like connected?
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a little string attached. You ever see, what is it, House Trap? Home Alone.
Once.
Good movie.
Ufel and Marcel's here on the left side, battling it out back and forth. There it is. The stacked up Devo gloves was just going to bring up the differential, but everything all well and good. Spexzilla's caught up here. This is what I mean. 4 deaths. Odin is 2-0-4. And Kliz is up half a level.
He made the rotation to stop the Gold Fury. And with all the deaths, it's slowly trickling into this tier 1 tower that might be available momentarily as Kliz is looking for more proxy farm. And yes, he's up only about maybe a level to maybe half a level tops, but the thing of the matter is how Gons has been able to transition now with 3 completed items. He has the cooldown reduction, he has Masamune just to get additional movement speed. So No Ping needs to keep in mind of the backline penetration because this solo jungle combo has Blink and can easily get to Yufel.
Jules here kind of lurking. Looking for a play. He's going to blink on top of Marcel's. Beads immediately burned. But he loses half his HP for it. Hunter's back. Yufel looking towards the Gold Fury. No Ping. They do see Pibe and Gons, but they're sticking to it.
They're going to go for it because Gons is right around the corner, forcing the reset. Gons still holding on to his ultimate and Blink combo. Spexzilla wrapping around Kliz, making the rotation, both soul laners present, and not taking advantage of the fact that the poke onto Marcel's. They got his ultimate, both of his relics still available. Without the Blink from Jules, for 90 seconds, he can't make that same play happen.
And with the run away there. No Ping not interested. Kliz has made the rotation. Will walk back to that lane. And again, all of these rotations are kind of quelling that lead that Kliz had amassed.
No Ping, they dip their toe in the water. Too cold to enter the pool, so they're just going to back off and wait a little bit longer.
So Kliz here on the Odin. How does he transition into the late game? Early game, Odin brings a ton of the damage. We watched the Bird Bomb really come out. But the damage will fall off as the game gets later and later. Is he just an ult bot?
He will be an ult bot, but the damage on squishy targets, on Yufel, on Syphos playing the Discordia, is still going to be enough. The base damage alone, you don't necessarily always have to build physical power to scale with Odin. Even though the scaling is pretty respectable, you're looking more to be the ult bot to allow your teammates to follow up from the positioning of No Ping.
No Ping looking to make the response, and I really want to see them go for that Gold Fury. They can fight right now. It's a different world between the Hunters. A little bit of crit for Marcel's, which I think makes sense, thinking he's Jingwei. No Ping not going to chase around that corner. That would have been bad news bears. Black Dragon's lurking behind in the jungle.
And Jingwei can easily get away with crit considering there's going to be no Item to Me in this game, no Thorns. There needs to be a Phantom. Dentola needs that last relic slot to be the Phantom to get away from the Odin cage. So Marcel's is free to build all the crit. Poison starts to negate a lot of the damage from Jules if he ever gets crit. And then you're going to be looking for a Deathbringer quite next soon.
Gold Fury, half HP already in the corner of Black Dragons. 25%. There's the blink forward from Jules, and the leash is good. Now looking for the jungler is Black Dragons, but they're going to find Syphos instead. Down goes the middle laner. The ring is good, but it's everybody on top of Jules. Double kill for the support P-Bay. As he continues to chase, Spexzilla in trouble.
Still going for more as Nan goes through the portal. The damage is respectable a little bit. Needs a lot of healing, though. Spexzilla's makes a great rotation. It is a 5-on-3, but P-Bay is non-existent with that red health bar. Giving up the Gold Fury, No Ping around the 18-minute mark allows Black Dragons to get a 4,000 gold lead.
Nice play there from Black Dragons. That is very, very textbook, I think. Just find the individual pick, extend it to a team fight, and then if you get 2 or more, go for the Gold Fury.
The thing was, Jules engaged at first with the blink, and as he engaged with the blink, the rest of his teammates kind of tried to follow up, and by following up, Syphos had to put himself slightly out of position.
Yep.
The counter engage was stronger than the initial one out of No Ping, and Black Dragons thriving with not only one objective, but another one in the form of Pyromancer.
Left side is going to be met with Jingwei, so no tier 2 tower split push. Black Dragons, though, leading by about 4,000 or 5,000, 4.5 to be a little bit more precise. And Yufel trying to run away here. Black Dragons looking for this lead. I like the Relic Dagger coming out from Kliz. Relic Dagger, I think, is a very underpurchased item. And when you're an Odin with Blink, it's perfect. And specifically, I think the meditation also really benefits from this as well.
30 seconds shedding off of Blink. That's going to be a long line of Blink's ultimates coming at No Ping. Not only for Kliz, but also Gons trying to really penetrate that backline. And yes, the meditations for the defensive purposes. He has the offensive capabilities, and now he seals the deal with the defensive side as well.
Mid lane seems to be the focus for Black Dragons. Nan's on the right side, but can ult it whenever he feels like it.
It's going to be important to find plays like that. The pull over the wall. PB gets caught out into the golden apple. No place to go.
Beautiful play by No Ping. Just waiting for that one there. He exploded like a powder keg there. Just sitting there expecting the pull.
The textbook A to B play. Strife to apply the root, the pull through the wall, finding an easy pick. Kliz jumping up and down, slowing multiple members. Needs to drop his ult, but it's not available.
Yeah, he's going to be in trouble there. Jules gets another kill, number 5 for the Jungle Robin. Sypho's in trouble, will get hit by the nonsense on the Circuit, and it spreads all over the place. Jules is in trouble. The ultimate from Non will be enough as Gon's tick damage finally calls Jules.
Just not able to survive that one. Doesn't have any health in his build. Going for a very glass cannon style is Jules. He used all his abilities trying to engage into that one, so he didn't have the overhead kick or that Mystic Rush to get out of that one.
Rough stuff for Black Dragon. Well, I guess for No Pings. Black Dragons play successful defense, trading Kliz out for 2 players. We got a Slurpee of a game here, folks. No Ping with 7 to Black Dragons 11. And everybody sort of trailing, trying to get back into this one.
No Ping got a little frisky. After picking off P-Bay through the wall, they thought, all right, we have a 5-on-4 advantage. Let's go for it. We got hell for the sustain. They got Kliz as well, but the 2 that they lost afterwards kind of made it a 3-on-3. And with P-Bay reviving first, it's going to be the experienced LAN veteran team recognizing the late game objective timing.
Ooh, Spexzilla.
No heals. That last breath, preventing everything.
That's a big play. That's a big play. That death was guaranteed until Spexzilla heals himself and gets away from the executed P-Bay.
The lazy back, but Non making the frisky play with that one. Unfortunately, Kliz wasn't there to apply the Odin cage, so the mobility from the heal, you don't necessarily always need the actual health gain back. Just the mobility to be a wiggly snake through the bushes is all that Spexzilla needed.
Look at that healing right there from the hell.
It's not much now.
It's not a lot whatsoever.
But we can easily see that be built up a lot in the next 10 minutes. The out-of-combat healing can go through the roof. Rod of Asclepius has been completed. You got the Lotus Crown on Spexzilla, whereas I thought it was going to be originally on Dentola until the hell was the pick of choice out of No Ping. So we could see a lot more grouping up, but still needs to finish off stacking for Dentola on that Gauntlet of Thieves. Only had 41 stacks.
Black Dragons, Fire Giant in their pocket. Left side will be pushed by Kliz and Marcel's. Mid lane, perhaps the next target. I love the positioning of P-Bay and Non here. Just hanging out in that jungle. If somebody from No Ping responds by going through the jungle, Black Dragons at mid lane and jungle are going to kill you. But if not, well, they can ensure that the tier 2 goes down on the left side and then transition over here with their team. Really nice positioning there coming out from Gons and Non.
Apply a roadblock so you could funnel in the traffic elsewhere. Black Dragons, they get the tier 2 on the left side. They're looking for the last 2 remaining tier 2s in the mid first, and then probably going to transition to the soul lane unless they can find the picks during this siege.
Certainly possible. Gons on the right-hand side will be looking to blink over the wall. Instead goes a little bit safer, tier 2 uncontested. So Black Dragon's looking for the retreat.
The blink on Jules was used to force the beads out of Non. So without those beads, there's a small 40-second window where Jules can try it yet again.
Got to keep that one in mind. Right now, the Gold Fury is the only thing on the mind. No Ping have no chance to get this one. Gold Fury goes to Black Dragons. That pushes them further in the lead. 12,000 gold.
Over the 5-digit marker, Black Dragons are really running away with this one because it's the 23 minute mark. If you look at a 10,000 gold lead at 35 minutes, 40 minutes, doesn't matter because everyone's level 20. You're just basically playing defense, and one wrong turn at a team fight can easily turn the tables for No Ping. But currently, only sitting at about 3, almost 4 items completed. It's looking very doom and gloom.
And right now, No Ping need to look to turn that one around. Totally, you mentioned the itemization. Very expensive build coming out from the Discordia. She is behind, but also leading with that Soul Reaver. Where does she go next to really maximize her situation?
She has a little bit of cooldown reduction with the Spirit of Desolation and the Soul Gem, so probably would not want to see her finish it with the Crone's Pendant. Needs extra burst damage. Honestly, Rada Tahuti wouldn't be terrible, trying to really get that damage online. If she wants the late game penetration, then the purchase of choice would certainly be that Obsidian Shard.
We've seen the Tahuti come out, I mean, almost first item before. Similar in price to the Chronos Pendant. Could be an option, no?
It's very possible, but I would like to see more percent pen out of this Discordia. It definitely needs to have a lot of that options available because the sieges are going to start occurring, and with Black Dragons having some sustain with Fire Giant once they get it again, more than likely, then all the poke damage you do without pen is going to be easily just regained naturally.
Fire Giant about to fall off. There it goes. Kliz leading the charge. Black Dragons should not care that they don't have the Fire Giant buff. I think they still can absolutely fight into this. They're up an absorbent amount of gold. No ping really should just be on their back foot.
Jules looking for the blink potential play. They recognize where Black Dragon's ward was. Sentry warding the counter. Sypho's on the right side. Spots 3 members on the right. 2 Black Dragons members on the left. Making the play happen onto Kliz just for a little bit of poke as the shield comes out at Odin. The pull not being used by Dentola because who would want to put an Odin closer to your Hell just to get caged?
Meanwhile, Hell's the only one that's going to get caged. Phantom comes out, and Kliz immediately walks away. Only a single Phantom on the side of no ping, and that Odin ultimate is a much lower cooldown.
150 seconds on the Phantom versus about the 60 or less out of the Odin cage. Now Dentola forcing the issue with the Wrath of Terror, forcing a lot of these teams to go back and forth. Marcel's in trouble, forced to airstrike away on the left. It's Gaunt's goes in the backside.
He's going to find Ufel with the ultimate, pop him and push him right into the rest of the team. Meanwhile, same result from Syphos, tossing out the ultimate out of the mid lane Discordia. Gon's going to be able to wiggle on out of there. Fire Giant's up, though, and no ping have the advantage. They've got the healer. They've got the sustain.
That's what it's going to be about. It's a 5-on-3. 2 Black Dragons members needed to back. They did not die as Kliz jumps away for the moment. Dentola looking for the pull off the mark. Defensive ultimate from Kliz. Well-timed as soon as no ping uses that sprint.
Making sure to negate the use of the active here. Fire Giant picked up again by NP. But there certainly seems to be a problem. Black Dragons are right here and just waiting. 50% of the big boy. Sypho's going to be flanked by Gon.
Look at Sypho's.
Turned his face to the Hunter, now looking back towards the mid lane. There's the jump up and down from Kliz. Not over the wall, gets him with the execute.
That's one. Here comes another one, maybe onto Jules. That's going to be a double. The Odin jump onto Sypho's, forcing the disengage. Spexilla trying to heal. Another one for PB.
Bang! Quadra kill! Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the support player. 4 kills in a row. Spexilla running around. Nod and Marcel's put him down. But PB doing the hard work. 4 in a row with the execute. Achilles, he's chilling, and they're pushing the middle lane.
That's the style you're looking for out of the support Achilles. PB really bringing it home for his team. They did a great opening, Black Dragons. They faltered in the mid game, but the late potential PB Achilles, he really looks like a superstar for this team.
Listen, man, I said before that this support selection of the Achilles is all about the personal play style. PB is one of the guys that can absolutely make it work. I love watching a support that understands their role, understands the job, that execute at the end of the game. Ooh, baby, let everyone do the hard work. And he just sits back and goes, gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
I was hoping for that 5th one, man. I was just like, come
Black
on.
Dragons was too.
We gotta see one. That was the closest I think that we've seen for a 5-player execute, because he got, I think, at least 3. I think he hit the 4th one for the kill. I'm not sure if he executed the 4th.
Those were 4 executes.
Oh, those were 4 executes? Oof.
That
Spicy.
was cool. Yeah, that was pretty much what the character was drawn up to do, right? So, fun
but keep in mind that while he does that, every single execute he uses, he's more and more vulnerable. But because of the advantage that Black Dragons has, it was no ping on the retreat the whole time.
40% extra damage taken, but Speczilla's the only one alive. Let's take another look at PB, just bringing this one home. Fantastic stuff out of the support Achilles. But again, the damage brought to you by the team.
That's right. In the back line, it was Gons penetrating onto Syphos. I think he was the first victim originally in this team fight. And then, it was the support player, Dentola, on the Sylvanas. Jules got a little bit ahead of himself, so he fell immediately after. The chase down from Kliz, slowing multiple members. If that slow doesn't happen, then PB is not in range to do anything.
PB.
He needed to execute again, but he missed the fifth. Oh, not like this.
You know his team's making fun of him for that one.
Oh, yeah.
Marcel. That's what that was they were like, all right, you missed the execute, and Marcel's like, I'm taking it.
That's true.
Nice stuff there coming out from PB. And what I really, really liked is the first execute. He actually goes into the ultimate. He goes into the windup before the player is in threshold. He understood the output from his teammates.
Even without the execute, the damage in itself can easily allow for the kill to happen. When No Ping was on the tree like that, it was almost guaranteed that that kind of chain of events was about to occur.
Beautiful stuff coming out there from Black Dragons, proving why they've been on top of their region for a number of pretty much years at this point, right? Black Dragons has been coming to Worlds time and time again.
It's hard for within the own Brazil region to really find an answer, because even when you think you have Black Dragons on the ropes, they just come back at you. Because Jules made so many good plays throughout the game. Yes, it was Spegzilla faltering at the beginning, but the rest of his teammates were doing a really solid job. The problem was that some of these team fights, they couldn't find an answer. They had a 5-on-3 at the Fire Giant, but they couldn't commit to it because they got off of it. They've tried to chase down Kliz. The defensive ultimate really slowed things down to allow the remaining 2 Black Dragon members to come back into the mix.
Well, PB was able to waterfall himself through that single team fight. Can he and his team waterfall themselves through this series? Let's take a look. Game number 2 coming at you right here. The SMITE Global Series live and in charge. No Ping will have the secondary pick here. Black Dragons on the first pick. The organization's been around for a long time, always representing that the Spanish-speaking region, the Portuguese-speaking regions, whether it's Brazil and elsewhere. So really exciting to see the Black Dragons continuing their reign of terror here in the Global Series.
Really exciting stuff. The first picks. I'm excited to see what Black Dragons are going to go for. Is No Ping going to ban the Achilles after that? Because if I see that in one of my games, I'm banning Achilles forever.
Well, the Athena is going to get banned, and you know it's really, like I said, it's player dependent and it's composition dependent. Black Dragons are going to ban the Achilles themselves. So the Achilles worked there because they had a ton of damage coming out from Odin. Like you say, he's a higher damage dealing solo laner, right? So he knows that he has the damage to bring players down into that execute threshold. Black Dragons banning this one out. Might be looking for something a little bit more setup oriented, and Terra is certainly the character to control a team fight.
I thought it was going to be either the Terra or the Giannis trying to get that mobility again. Nan doing a lot of work also in that last team fight where he clipped so many members through space and time. But it's going to be No Ping this time piloting that god.
That's a great choice by them to strip that away from Nan. Nan does have a stable of other selections here, but Giannis has been his go-to for a long time. Marcel's will be on the Hachiman here, and Black Dragons finishing out their first round of the draft. Terra, Hachiman, that's probably the dual lane, and Raven will be in the jungle. And I like that choice for Black Dragons. They go, look, even though you didn't beat us, your jungler was on fire.
Marcel's was struggling against the Raven. Every single time the blink was up, that was the target of choice. Get the Jingwei out of the fight. Allow her to fly away. You don't want to deal with that. Send the carrier pigeon home.
Artemis going to be the choice for No Ping. High damage late game hunter here for the guys on the right side of the screen. Enjoyable to watch her play. Is she going to be able to dance with Hachiman in lane?
It's tricky because the crit could be easily countered compared to last game where Marcel's Jingwei got away with a crit. This game, Black Dragons haven't committed to a solo lane quite yet. And if it's going to be a warrior or a guardian, then a crit Artemis that's naturally built into her kit can easily get countered.
There's a lot of protection on this Black Dragons team. Part of me wants to see Nan pick the hell and just kind of show. I love when teams. Let me show you how it's done.
Yeah, we could easily see it. No Ping with the next pick. They still need their jungler of choice, and they still need a support. Kokolin more than likely going to go in the solo lane, not jungle, as Sobek gets locked in.
I like that.
And next 2 picks going for Black Dragons.
Black Dragons do decide to go into a healer route. Sobek is going to cull that a little bit. Terra, of course, brings some healing herself. And Black Dragons going the opposite direction. Well, they're going to make sure that you can't heal your teammates because they're dead. Nan on the long-range stuff. Really like this guy.
A lot of safety. We saw yesterday in the North American set between E United and Space Station Gaming. Guan Yu.
9th pick.
Wow. Going all the way in the distance. I think it was actually first banned, if I'm not mistaken. And both of these teams are like, oh, wait, yeah, as they giggle and lock it in.
Pretty much just the forgotten warrior here. Guan Yu is going to come through and make sure And the enemy can't forget them. Black Dragons trying to close this one out quickly. Let's get into game number 2 and see if No Ping can dance with the formidable team down from Brazil. Very excited to see where Giannis and Artemis are going to go here.
And as we head into the game number 2, No Ping has a lot of global pressure between the Giannis and the Ratatasker. Black Dragons, they need to find an answer for that. They do have great team fighting aspects as well between the Tear and the Guan Yu, the double sustain. A lot of action already kicking off in the duo lane. Both sprints being popped.
Jules makes the rotation all the way at level 1. The sprint's here, and Marcel's goes down. First blood for No Ping. Nice and easy.
3 on 2, favoring No Ping. P-Bay trying to run away as well, trying to avoid that pluck because level 1, that was the choice. The slow being applied for P-Bay. Needs to hit the pluck, but he's off the mark. Couldn't find the second one.
That's rough. If P-Bay gets plucked there, he's definitely toasted. No Ping just get 1 kill, though, for their trouble. Funny for Jules, he actually gets to go back to base and heal up a little bit and then come back out.
Getting a lot of an advantage considering that he's already upgraded 1 evolution of the Acorn, getting a lot more stacks on the Assassin's Blessing. You fell this time, though, taking a lot of damage. That's a problem for them, considering that they did not try to back to base either the same way their jungler did. They wanted to go for a second one, so they are not as healthy as P-Bay or Marcellus. They can easily still turn this around for Black Dragons.
They've got to watch out for that possibility. I mean, that's a very, very real possibility. But with a little bit of healing, some nice potions, all of a sudden everything's all even one more time.
And I like the way P-Bay's kind of like baiting himself out there, trying to take some shots from UFL 1. Instead of hitting the wave, he's going for the poke onto the Terra, and that's slowing down their clear ever so slightly. In Black Dragons able to stay on the same pace in terms of the purple buff, but for whatever reason, No Ping is going to switch off to the red buff, allows Black Dragons to get back to the lane first.
Yeah, they just want to clear the experience, I suppose, is the play. But with the charge prayer and the Sobek, I would have liked to see them just stick in lane.
That's true. You don't want to try to look for those plays. And now it's going to be P-Bay Marcel's making this rotation to deny the purple buff entirely. Still level 1 in the dual lane is No Ping. In fact, going to just hold on to the wave even longer as there's a forced rotation from Jules.
Yeah, Jules here, level 2, going to look to clear up the purple buff for his teammate. Clears out the Guan Yu. Big changes to this character. He's going to have his passive amplified. Doesn't really shut off during team fights. Right now, Dentola wishes he had a Guan Yu over here because he's a little bit low. But again, the jungler shows up. Again, Marcel's goes down. P-Bay going to be chased out, but again, P-Bay will wind up walking away safely. But 2 kills on the Hunter already.
And the timing of that gank was so important. A nice job juking out that dash. Kliz not taking any sort of damage from there's Guan Yu. Still a good choice in the solo lane, but the dash from Marcel's used at the same... Oh my goodness, in a 2v1, Sypha's getting caught out. And I was going to actually say, as Marcel's used his dash right as Ratatasker came into the lane. So unfortunate timing.
Yeah, I mean, that was a little bit rough there. Black Dragon's able to answer back, but No Ping off to a great start.
Trying to find something more in the dual lane. Should be the case for No Ping, looking for some more damage. This Artemis has been looking pretty solid thus far with 2 deaths onto Marcel's on the Hachiman. He needs to find a way to really get back into this game.
Left side has been so rambunctious lately. Oh, man. Shouts to Jules making that adaptation, though. Noticing that was a play that he could make and then make it again. This is the creativity that I speak about from junglers in Season 5, is that you're going to start the game at the speed buff, and we know that. And then you're either going to go to red buff or those back harpies. We know that. But the way junglers work right now, if you're unpredictable, that's where you're going to succeed. You're supposed to start at the speed buff, not in the duo lane. Like, that's not where you're supposed to, quote-unquote, be. And because Jules is breaking the rules, he's succeeding.
Well, a lot of teams will actually group up as 5 at level 1 to make sure that kind of play will never happen, as some of the warding occurs between the red buff, between purple buff or whatnot. P-Bay is trying to defend their own buffs on the backhand side. This time it's a 4-on-3.
Yeah, Nan's going to be put right into the clutches, but is able to avoid some of the nonsense. And then Tola can't avoid nonsense. Goes through and hits him with the ultimate from the Thoth. Nice play there coming out from Brazil.
finding an answer right on top of the support player that's looking to play very aggressive. Dentola needs to be shut down, and that's one way to do it. Get non-involved. The Guardian support the Sobek doesn't have the magical defense to really handle Final Judgment quite yet.
I'm just always so impressed with Nan, man. Every time he takes the battlefield, even when Black Dragons lost here at LAN and they weren't able to really go toe-to-toe with some of the stronger teams, Nan was still having exemplary performances. Him and P-Bay. And guess who performed in this set today? Him and P-Bay.
They're making the plays happen. Nan playing the Thoth. It's one of these gods that you have to really watch out for, just like that. An unexpected stun through the wall. Doesn't find the pick onto Jules, but gets the damage off to be like, hey, I'm here. And I got the damage.
Nan reminds me of Thoth. The outlook, just a very cool, calm, collected, like everything's going nuts, but I'm still here. And I'm just going to focus on doing me. That's what Nan's like at LAN. Kliz goes nuts, and PB is a pretty loud guy as well. PS, I've seen him streaming lately. Got to keep your eye on that one. Nan, quiet, cool, calm, just says, hey guys, we're going to do this. We're going to do that.
I agree that Nan is definitely that kind of character as PB. Trying to get plucked and runs away. But the guy that he's playing, I don't know, Thoth doesn't look calm, cool, or collected.
Nah, he's got that walk.
He always seems like he's on edge, man.
Nah, he got that walk. Look at him. Look at him right there. The Thoth guy just, yeah, I'm cruising. I'm walking. No problem. What's up? What's good? See me. That's what he says.
Yeah, but the way he talks and I don't know.
I mean, this skin, he's doing that.
Like,
but
he's yelling.
But normally Thoth is like, ha ha, I'm Thoth.
Not that one.
Ha ha.
Not that skin.
No, not that skin.
Oh, Jules up in the sky looking for Gons.
Oh, the double knockup is great. Gons gets knocked up 3 times, and Ufeli gets the kill.
Nice kill. Very important to shut down the jungle potential. Without Robin, you don't really have to worry about the blink penetration on your backline. So Ufeli can kind of breathe easy. Cyphers can breathe easier. And that through space and time was used as well to us to apply some more damage. A lot of cooldowns just to pick off the Robin.
Kliz has had control of this lane for the majority of the game, and that doesn't seem to be where this matchup you would expect it to go.
Definitely not. I would believe that Gons just applied a little bit of pressure while Jules was kind of leaning in that dual lane. Blue buff invades, trying to make sure that Kliz was not going to lose his own blue buff, and that's the one important thing for Guan Yu. He relies so heavily on that mana regen, same way that Spexzilla was trying to rely on it last game with that health.
Yeah, Guan, and certainly an ability spammer. Wants to be able to heal his minions and launch off that Taulo. Jules on the run. Gons shows up, and the ward vision there provided for no ping. So Nan and Gons won't be able to chase into the enemy jungle.
Trying to get off a little bit of poke damage. Black Dragons trying to just practice a little bit before some of these mid-game team fights occur. 7 minutes in as Black Dragons still a very even game despite giving up that early first blood as Jules has not been able to really continue the pressure over and over again. He's going for different targets. He's going for the out-of-position Robin. The 2 deaths on the Hachiman is not the same way that there was 4 deaths on Spexzilla's Hell in the last game.
And even if it was, I mean, he can certainly bounce back. We watched that Hell bounce back, right? A couple of rotations from Kliz, and the experience was able to be nullified. Marcel's here. I like his adaptation. Marcel is just hanging out in the jungle now. He's like, look, the jungler's going to keep ganking me. I'm going to make sure I'm 1 step ahead of him. I'm not pushing up. Very, very cautious is the left side of the map. And Black Dragon's looking to change that by exerting their own pressure here.
The stun not on the mark as Jules dashes at the same timing, but still good enough to kind of force the disengage out of no ping, stripping away the red buff.
And that's a really big deal, not only because they get the red buff and the invade, sure, but that's going to provide pressure, right? Marcel's has been under the knife here pretty much the entire time with the junglers showing up all the time. And you see the ultimate. That's because No Ping has conditioned him here in game number 2 to be extremely scared. If Black Dragons are able to successfully make plays on the left side jungle, well, that's going to be able to limit how scary that jungler can be.
It just doesn't seem that Marcel's is used to playing from this behind in his own lane. He's used to the one being ahead for the most part. He needs to kind of slow it down, drop some aggressive wards, or have someone else drop those aggressive wards all around the purple buff. But with this Sentry Ward between the purple and the red buff, Oh, Gons was just not able to stop the back out of Jules. He used the blink, really wanted to catch that lazy back from happening, but not going to stop it out. And yeah, Marcel's needs those offensive wards just to see where Jules is at.
Other side of the map, those solo laners are proxying each other's waves, kind of, you know, no care in the world. Cullen's going to come and try to collapse on Kliz, who finds the invade and won't be able to do so. What's the benefit when both solo laners are proxy farming?
Well, if both of them are doing it, then if the first team to pull the trigger to look for that gank, you might be able to make a play happen, but you also have to calculate, are you going to be giving up the Gold Fury if you go for the solo lane kill? Because that's a long travel to go from between your tier 1, tier 2 solo lane all the way to the dual lane Gold Fury side.
Especially here in Season 5, the map got a little bit bigger than it used to be. Non's got to be careful of... Yeah, there you go. Dentola not going to surprise the mid laner this time around. 2-0-0 for Black Dragon's Thoth.
And just like this, if Marcel's can play patient, the wave will eventually build up where he'll get that 6 archer wave and he can freeze the lane right outside his tower. He's about to deny a whole wave worth of experience against Ufeli to be able to catch up in this lane.
This is going to be a great look. Marcel's hitting level 9 there. And like you said, his wave is just dying. Nice moves there coming out from Marcel.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere soon. Yeah. He's chilling. He got a camp. He got his marshmallows toasted. He got the can of beans and the can opener. He's camping.
Marshmallows and beans, Tully?
Yeah. You got to get your protein.
Marshmallow and beans, Tully?
You got to have your sweets and your salties.
So do marshmallows and like peanut butter. That is a very standard mix.
Well, I'm not saying...
You're also getting your protein there. Gon's going to dodge out of the way of the Dentola. Right here comes the rest of Black Dragons. Got to watch out for Syphos on the flank, but not with the long-range ultimate. T-Bay dashes forward, but doesn't have the damage. Marcel's still in that long lane, so not able to make that rotation. Terra ultimate popped as well.
No ping, definitely scared of that engagement. And once a Terra ultimate comes through, you have to be very mindful about all the damage that is about to occur between the healing onto Black Dragons. It's very scary when you're next to the Terra, because not only can she like stun you out, root you out, but then all of a sudden she's turning a team fight with a pseudo belt of frenzy.
I feel you. Okay.
And all of a sudden the team fight is not in your favor.
What's scarier to me, I mean, there's that power swing, right? The ultimate from Terra is going to amplify you and lower the output from your enemies. That's scary. You know what's scarier for me? The damage that you take.
Yes.
The force, if you damage somebody 4 times on the 5th hit or after the 4th hit, you take a whole bunch of damage from P-Bay because of that ultimate. And that really, really surprises folks. Here with 2 points in it, it's doing 250 plus, I mean, a little bit of the power, who cares? That's a ton of damage, and rightfully so. No Ping is looking to hunt down the Terra. Won't be able to do so.
Something about her lore and the stones, and there's like 4 of them, so you got to remove the stones. I don't know.
She's the Earthen Protector, and essentially...
But why 4?
Well, what was it?
Why 4?
What, Tully?
There's 4 stones.
Oh, I thought you meant like, why 4? Are they doing so? Why 4 stones? Because they represent the seasons. Each stone is, one is spring, one is summer, one is autumn, and one is winter.
No, I don't know if that's true, but that's a great save.
That's exactly
I'll give it to you.
That's what they represent.
He's not a Kernos.
Dash for dash.
Nice stun from
Like
Nan.
that one. Meanwhile, you fell. Hey, bud, you fell. Gons, make sure he's gone. Nan, on the other hand, not going to be competitive here. Jules on the good side of that one. Gons now trying to deal with 3 separate players. Knock up, knock up, knock up, knock out. Marcel's puts an end to it and puts Jules in the dirt.
Trying to get disengaged. Syphos goes on the backhand north side. Spexilla chasing down Marcel's. Will find the salmon leap, but the rotation from Kliz non-existent to help his teammates. Instead, went for the tier 1 tower. Understood that he was too late to the party.
Totally, did you call that the salmon leap?
Isn't that what it's called?
There's no way that Cullen has an ability called salmon leap.
About to look it up right now.
Well, we've got an observer there, actually, to do that for you, and it's called... Oh my goodness. Salmon leap?
He leaps like a salmon.
You know what? Jeez.
Did I just open your mind?
You certainly did something there. I did not expect that to be so silly. That's really funny.
I'm normally silly when it comes to casting, but I'm not that silly. To start, name a random ability, add an animal and an action. Go.
That's how Taco does it. Otter slop. That's basically what it works, right? I mean, that's what she does.
The tail slap.
Now you're talking about me there, totally.
Give him the fin shake.
The Jules and the team looking to pick up their own red buff for the first time in a while. Black Dragons has successfully looked for that invade in the enemy jungle, and that's why they've been able to sort of, I won't say fight their way back into this one. No Ping had a nice early lead, but didn't really do anything to really command that and call it their own. So I wouldn't really classify this as Black Dragons clawing their way back into it, or more so the game just coming to them and them allowing it to.
The thing is, the advantage of No Ping's draft and composition of global pressure, I've yet to see them really apply this global pressure outside of Jules one time using the ultimate onto Gons, finding that pick very successfully. The rotation from Syphus, it's them playing defensively now. Ufeli using that ultimate defensively.
Yep, there's the blink forward from Gons, and Ufel is already eliminated. Big shot from Non from a distance as well. P-Bay pops the ult. Probably didn't even need it, but better safe than sorry for Black Dragons. They find themselves up over 1,000 gold.
This time, Kliz making the rotation happen first. It could easily be Black Dragons forcing the Gold Fury as Ufeli dead for another 15 seconds.
Do it.
5-on-4 window.
Gold Fury being aggressed here. Kliz shows up. 50%. People from No Ping available. Rats in the sky. The full leash from Black Dragons. Love that call. Spexilla by himself down low. Everybody else up top looking at Gons. He's going to be able to jump away. The flip is good, but it gets diverted. Gons still able to jump over the wall. Safe and sound. Spexilla has the thorn, so everybody running away. 2 seconds left on it. There it goes. It falls. Non with a good dash. There's a stun on the Kliz, saving his mid laner. Spexilla still looking for it. Aegis is strong. Spexilla cold from a distance. Well done by Black Dragons to protect their team.
They're not done yet. The heals are coming through. There's the slow off the mark. Was then Tola on the dash is not available. Meanwhile, Jules catches out Non, but his dash not available either. Kliz gonna find that one. Ufeli, he just revived, and he's gonna get taken out again.
Gons on a tear. 3-1-6 for the jungler here for Black Dragons. 2,000, more like 1,500 in the lead. But this Gold Fury is going to change that one because this one is going to Black Dragons uncontested. What a confidence play there, Toli.
Can we look at the healing done? I'm curious out of Kliz and P-Bay combined. So 4,600.
Oh, the snatch! The snatch! The snatch! The snatch! They ain't got no ping, but they got all the gold in the world. Really, really, really big play there.
Nice.
Sypho's making sure that the game doesn't get out of control.
They had the vision. Look at that ward in the Gold Fury pit. If we could just take a look inside the Gold Fury pit, right behind it, you're going to see the... Yes, that's the red ward.
Oh, that's beautiful. No ping. Sypho is able to make that play because he had the vision like the line between two dots.
Yes.
You didn't get that one, did you?
No, I did not. Explain it for me and the fans at home.
You ever see a division symbol? You ever see a division symbol, Toli?
I'm sure that everyone has seen a division symbol.
Well, it's a line and two dots. They got division.
Gotcha.
Come on now, Toli.
I was still worried about, or not worried about, I was still thinking about that steal.
Oh, I thought you were going to say
all I heard was the line of the dots. I'm like, what is going on?
Great vision from No Ping. Protected themselves from losing the Gold Fury earlier on. So right away, they dropped the vision on the Fire Giant. No Ping has been really good when it comes to the warding, expending a lot of their gold into sentry wards, which I actually think is very, very good. You can talk about it keeping them behind a little bit, down 2,000 gold, and you look at the build, you can talk about that actually affecting their build. But I think that the sentry wards that they're bringing is actually a very important part of their gameplay right now.
The sentry vision, it's always a battle between teams of Gold Fury vision control, Fire Giant vision control, Spexilla on the backhand side taking a little bit of poke, and the rest of Black Dragons recognized this as an opportunity to aggress.
There's Kliz with the protection shred.
The
Spexilla
stun!
gets stunned, and he's going to get salmon slapped. Big hits coming out from the Horseman, and the stun is good enough. Oh, but it's dodged out by Spexilla. Gons picks up Syphos on the left-hand side, and that one's going to go down as well. Dentola. Marcel's finds another one. Fire Giant started here. Well, we saw this episode last week.
Yep. Black Dragons able to really switch targets at the drop of a dime, going for Spegzilla, chasing him down with a horse with the sprint being popped, and then all of a sudden it was actually Cyphus that was out of position and got caught out. Nan doing a great job applying the initial engagement with the stun and then finishing it off with the final judgment onto Cyphus.
Very big deal that Cyphus is one of the players that is going to fall down in that team fight because he's the one that stole the Gold Sphere.
Yes.
He could have stolen the Fire Giant again.
Very easily. His ultimate is still available. It wasn't even being used defensively. He didn't have time to do it. And I thought for sure Spegzilla was dead, but Black Dragons, they had better intentions.
No ping here. I just gave them a lot of credit for dropping the wards and being very, paying a lot of attention to the vision. Well, no ping are doing that. They're placing a lot of wards, but unfortunately, all it's allowing them to do is watch Black Dragons more efficiently take everything off the map.
Well, the problem was that Spegzilla was on the backhand side that took way too much poke, and that forced Black Dragon's hand. Like, hey, if you're going to be this out of position, like, yeah, you're Kakulin, but you were only level 17 at the time, and if you're going to be this far away, like, no one is there to protect you. The portal from Cyphos was used to save out Dentola, and Cyphos, being that far north, couldn't really find the right wall or angle to save his Kakulin.
Just tough stuff there coming out from Black Dragons, or coming out for no ping because of Black Dragon's success. Jules opting to go for the split push on the right side. I don't love it, but sure. Left side tier 1 goes down. Left side tier 2 will go down as well. The mentality behind the Ratatasker split push is essentially they're not going to defend the tier 1 or the tier 2 anyway. I understand that. Ratatasker does have a ton of disruption, and he needs to be here before Black Dragons start thinking about the Phoenix. So he's a little bit late to the party, but I don't think they're going to miss out.
Earth and Fury being used. Marcel's trying to get the damage off up in the sky. Jules lands onto Gons through space and time, trying to deter Nan, but he dashes away safely.
Great stuff coming out from Nan, avoiding all of Cyphos' nonsense. Black Dragons still grouped here. Nan and PB don't have their ultimates available, but Gons, Kliz, and Marcel absolutely do.
Trying to make something happen with the Fire Giant sustain between the Terra and the Guan Yu sustain. They got the trifecta of healing, and the no ping doesn't seem to have a response.
This is Brazil. Trifecta's North America, but Black Dragon's still trying to play out of their minds. Dentola trying to play defense on the left side, but everybody goes to the right looking for the high-value targets. Giannis out of there.
The blink from Jules. Perfect overhead kick. Not going to take much damage out of that one. Meditation even being used from Kliz, trying to keep his teammates' mana up and running. Kliz going to heal everybody back up. No ping. Don't have much mana to fight into this. Dentola is less than half health.
There, Gon's going to find Dentola on the back line. Now looking for Jules. Able to wiggle on out of there, and no pluck coming out from the Sobek. Gon's in trouble as he gets hit by Cyphos. He's going to have to escape there, and the Phoenix still 25%. Kliz is the one that gets the Hunter, though. Jules on the run, thanks to the ultimate from the Giannis, and he will find Gons, who is backing in the middle of the lane. Nice fight. Black Dragon able to pick up the left Phoenix.
Took all the portals to chase down one, and a perfect penetration out of Kliz, using that cavalry charge to stick on Ufeli. No potential disengage. You don't have the gap closer, you don't have a jump, so even intercepting every single individual strike. Oh, the stun happened before, not... Oof, so close to finding that kill.
Yeah, that was really interesting. But you were talking about Guan Yu and the ultimate. That ultimate, that could be one of the most damaging ults around.
Yes, if you hit, I think it's 6 individual strikes, and it consecutively gets more and more damage.
Yeah, because it amplifies, right?
Yeah, so, but the thing about the Guan Yu ultimate is you have to know how to pilot it correctly. And you have to, like, slow down, you know, you have to kind of, like, drift real quick when the target's moving left and then drift back immediately when they're moving right and stuff. It's crazy.
I wish y'all could see Toli, like, driving this invisible horse in the caster booth right now, but...
I'm, like, moving my chair.
The thing with Guan, this actually blows a lot of players' minds, players that have tons of hours in the game. If you press S, or whatever your hotkey is to go backwards, you slow the horse down. A lot of people don't realize that.
That's true.
You can slow down. Can you speed up as well? By pressing W?
I'm pretty sure you could speed up. I think if you just don't hit anything, there's like a neutral state, an accelerated state, and a slower state.
Kicks in.
Yeah. You press the red button. You know how Kay says not to press the red button?
Yes.
You push that red button when you're playing Guan Yu.
And
every single time.
Then you fly above the Holland Tunnel. I'm happy you went to the, like, 20-year-old Men in Black movie instead of the obvious Fast and the Furious movies.
Obviously, Men in Black. What?
Sure, yeah. When I think of fast cars, I think of Men in Black first.
Oh, absolutely.
Fire Giant respawned. No ping gonna sniff around here. Down 6,000 gold. But Black Dragons have their footing. Non does get knocked up, and we will mention that. But everybody else looking pretty clean here. Luckily for Non, he does have the Guan Yu heals, and Jules gonna sneak in to the left-hand side. Spexzilla shows up. He's got a 50. He's got the 3,000 pot. Look at that.
Doing a lot of damage to these objectives, but not trying to commit to the Fire Giant quite yet, as all 5 members had a no ping still healthy. Black Dragons, they're really just waiting for these fire minions to get closer to the throne room at a no ping.
Spexzilla coming in here. Pretty tanky. Up on the horse goes Kliz, looking to make the play onto Ufel. Like you said, no real way to get away from it, but the knockup is good onto Kliz. The knockup is good again onto Kliz. Ufel takes one. Zegons gets Ufel. It's going to be a 1-for-1 so far. Solo for Hunter.
These supports are battling at it again, as Marcel's took a lot more damage than he wanted to. Needs to find a way to heal it back up. Forced to go back to his base as Jules, taking about 20% of the Titan's health, sitting about 8,600. Could open the window for this Fire Giant.
Meanwhile, Marcel's going to use the Aegis and get away from Spexzilla here. Black Dragon's looking for the full eject. No ping is actually, this is an interesting win for Black Dragons. So one, when you have firemen going to the Titan, it's always a win whenever you do that. But Kliz versus Ufel. Kliz dies, so does Ufel. But with Ufel dead, that means No Ping can't do the Fire Giant. Even though No Ping kind of won that team fight, believe it or not, when you look at health differentials, they weren't able to get the objective. So Black Dragons found the correct target to kill.
And defensively, No Ping would take this trade every single time. That left side Phoenix about to respawn. There's still one more fire wave in the lane. There's not going to be a second one. So as long as they clear out that one, they don't have to worry about the safety of that Phoenix any longer.
The Titan also starting to heal up a little bit here, as that Phoenix is alive and well. Fire Giant started by Black Dragons, 60% and counting. Dentola here, available, local, ready to go.
It's a bait. They don't really want to commit. They force out the ultimate, and Ufeli is going to be the victim. They don't have the purification beads, but God's taking a lot more than he bargained for.
He's going to jump on out of there, and meanwhile, Jules is going to go back to base the hard way. Marcel's with 1 kill. There's the shred. Kliz picks up the enemy Hunter. Spexzilla in trouble. Going to use a salmon flip to get on away, but Marcel's trying to do some of the damage from the back line. The root's good,
no,
and Spexzilla can't find the portal.
Not able to get into that one. Can we talk about Kliz for a second? He uses his cavalry charge onto Ufeli after the Aegis was down, after the ultimate not available because Gaunt's forced it. Not only that, after he stuns out off the dismount, he backpedals while using Tallow Assault, expecting the pluck from Dentola, completely avoiding it. Some Jedi next level tricks out of this young solo laner.
Yeah, it was really, really hot. Black Dragons, I think, is definitely one of the premier Global Series teams. Watching these guys play is impressive every time they come out. And this is a squad. I have a lot of fans that ask, you know, how do you feel about the international teams and how they stack up against the rest of the competition? Black Dragons is the squad that like can and will topple some of the North American European teams this year. I'm saying that right now. I think that Black Dragons will beat somebody in the best of 3 this year.
This year is Black Dragons' year?
This year is their year. Shouts to Aurora. 27-27 on the clock. 16-8. Read the kills. And the 5-digit gold lead is in effect. Black Dragons 10,000 above No Ping. And certainly looking clean doing it.
And this is a similar spot that No Ping were in the last game, except that they were the ones with the healer in the last game. This time around, Black Dragons having all the sustain in the world that they really need to seal the deal.
One of my favorite things in Smite is the little face on the timer for the jungle camps.
The face?
The jungle camps that are down, they get a face in the game world, not on the minimap. See that little face? It's so funny. You don't think that guy's funny?
No.
Aggro and I named the speed buff. That's Wade. It's Wade. Like Wade Boggs.
Isn't he retired by now?
Wade Boggs?
No.
Yes, Wade Boggs has been retired for a number of years. Oh, you mean Aggro?
No. I was thinking Dwayne Wade.
Black Dragons marching up the middle lane. Tier 2 tower just barely exists. Black Dragons now looking for their final push, or what could be They've got about 2 minutes left on this Fire Giant. Where do they go? They just push up the left side?
It's weakened, the left
Weakened
Phoenix, so trying to get that off the board could be the easiest task. They're going to split a little bit off the mid just to get the minions a little bit closer. Easily opportunity to split push for Gons as he has the blink. Doesn't have the global pressure the same way Jules has, but the blink can certainly help.
Kliz leading the charge. Spexzilla going to be here, absorbing some of the Taulo. Non from a distance. Nice dodge away from the Giannis nonsense. Non misses the stun. Kliz up in front still, looking for anybody that's willing to dance. Nice hail of arrows coming out from the Artemis player. Moving forward, the ultimate from Non going to be canceled at the very last second. Charging the laser. Again, waiting for the opportunity. Phoenix getting ticked down by the Hunter. Good job there so far. The flick is good, but Marcel's able to take care of Dentola. Right side Tola, you mentioned the bird is going to be gone as well. Kliz dealing up in front. Meanwhile, Jules on the backside. Nom takes him down before he goes to the sky. Gods takes care of You Fell. And this one looks like it's all Black Dragons. 3 players down, and everybody else seeping into the Titan. Black Dragons in 2 games. Take down No Ping.
Very clean performance. 30 minutes into game number 2. Black Dragons win 2-0. Looking very strong in the first week out of the Brazilian Global Series.
Beautiful stuff there. Black Dragons just putting on a clinic, showing us why they're so respected in the Global Game Series, and watching Kliz and Pibe and Non do just go to work, honestly.
And the Pibe on the Achilles game number 1, spicy stuff here. Game number 2 as well, non-transitioning from the Giannis to the Thoth, setting up a lot of plays, aggressive dashes at the beginning. Even though Marcel struggled, I would say in both games, considering how much pressure that he really got, he was still able to really bounce back and do what he was required of.
Absolutely. Looked like a clean set from these guys altogether. No Ping, certainly some issues to work through, but I loved what Jules had to say.
I think that there was a lot of plays that we can look at throughout both of these games, but there was one specifically that No Ping definitely highlighted, and I think it was around that Gold Fury where that ward at the backhand side, the timing of it was honestly really perfect, and there was not vision for Black Dragons to see that one coming, so they couldn't even find the reset.
Yeah, just beautiful stuff there coming out from these guys, and this, of course, is the top of Brazil. Let's take a look at the bigger picture, the bracket that everybody has fought through to really get here into the Global Series. Up there on top is going to be Black Dragons, Nargs, ETs, and No Ping will make up the remainder of that. And yeah, so one of the bigger things about the Global Series is that this is now a 4-team league, essentially, as opposed to the open brackets that we're accustomed to.
And it's going to be higher tier competition. It's going to be just more intense action between not only Brazil, but all the other ones include.
Really exciting stuff there. Now, that's going to be the end of our Global Series, but don't worry, there's a ton more SMITE action on the way. We're going to take a look at the SMITE Minor League a little bit later. Insignum takes on Burrito. That'll be Tully and Finch on the broadcast. And then, of course, later, we've got the SMITE Pro League. We're going to be featuring Europe, Energy and Obey, and then Mouse versus SK. So the top and the bottom. Definitely want to tune in to catch some of that. It's going to be exciting. Tully, what are you looking forward to most?
I'm looking for the next one, the Minor League.
Definitely going to be
Get you
exciting.
out, get Finchin.
Oh. Insignum's at least exciting to watch. Make sure you check that one out. We'll be back soon.